Welcome back, you're watching the Gadgets and Gizmos show with me, Siddharth Sharma. Now, before going into the break, we told you about the top 10 gadgets of the year 2014. And now it's time to tell you about the top 10 gadgets that promised the moon but failed to sizzle in the year 2014. Nokia X Family takes the number 10 spot on our top tech fails of 2014, simply because it was a very poor and laid-back attempt by Nokia to enter the Android space. The phones were cheap and non-usable for people looking for a budget smartphone experience. Next on the list is the Samsung Galaxy S5. This was the poorest attempt by Samsung for giving its flagship smartphone a facelift. At first, they did not launch the phone with a Qualcomm processor in India. The heart rate monitor never functioned and the fingerprint scanner had no usability. The only good thing about the phone was its camera. Samsung was so lazy that they did not even do much to make the design on the phone better. And that is why Samsung Galaxy S5 makes it to number 9 on the top tech fails of 2014. Samsung Galaxy Note Pro takes the 8th spot, as it was supposed to be the product that brought Windows-like productivity experience to an Android tablet. Moreover, it did to a certain extent. So what happened? Firstly, it was grossly underpowered and it lagged a lot. And secondly, it was expensive. It was also a product ahead of its time because of the time of its launch, Microsoft's industry-leading Office apps were not free on Android. Now they are. Lastly, Galaxy Note Pro was quite a massive tablet, which is never a good thing. In comparison, Microsoft's Surface Pro 3 was a success because it had the power of Windows with support for legacy Windows apps, and it had the hardware prowess of the MacBook Air. The innovative folks at Lytro have been at it, reinventing the way we take photos with light field technology. Its Lume camera with its CMOS sensor and 40 megaray light field resolution attempted to make the foray to professionals. The thing is, using light field technology, many professionals have to unlearn what they have known for years. Hence we see not many takers. In addition, it clearly is a first generation product, which is very expensive. So it does not make a lot of sense in its current state. Perhaps next year Lytro will return with cheaper and more polished product, but not the Lume. So the Lytro Lume takes the number 7 spot. After its amazing unveil at Google I/O 2012, there has been little news about Google Glass. Glass was supposed to be a consumer product by 2014 at the latest. And there are rumors that developers are abandoning support for this project. As of now, use cases for the product have not been fleshed out properly, and it is a very expensive product to own. Now there are reports that the Google Glass will make a return in 2015 in a more capable, cheaper avatar with Intel inside. Looking at history, we are inclined to take this information with a grain of salt. So Google Glass lands up at number 6 in our list. Created out of the remnants of the MeeGo team that left Nokia, the Jola smartphone had only one mission: reinventing the smartphone experience, and landing up at number 5 on our top tech fails list. It has a unique multitasking system in place, which is a bit complicated to learn, and has support for Android apps. Its biggest Achilles heel is perhaps its uninspiring hardware, which found few takers in India. And frankly, there are better options in the market which are cheaper and more familiar. Blackberry Passport was supposed to be crazy, but still it ended up on the tech fail list at number 4. Whacked out project that could retrieve Canadian company's smartphone business, it just bombed. By all accounts, as for the first time, there was a QWERTY BlackBerry flagship which did not provide a rock-solid typing experience. The duality between the odd hardware keyboard, the BB10 swipe gestures and the dependence on the touchscreen just added to the steep learning curve behind the phone. For many, this alone made for an unpleasant smartphone experience. Leave for the large, unwieldy form factor of the phone, the odd shape of the screen, and the general poor quality of apps on the phone. When Intex Cloud FX was launched, its billing was that it was the cheapest smartphone in India. While true, the blunt truth is also the smartphone experience it provided was not even close to being a smartphone experience in the truest sense. It was even inferior to similarly priced feature phones at performing basic tasks. And that is why Intex Cloud FX makes it to the number 3 spot on our top tech fails of 2014. The idea of Android One program is novel. It attempts to have standardized set of hardware and software in place for low-cost smartphones. Software-wise, Google handles everything from the interface to the updates, and it's awesome. Unfortunately, the 3 Android One smartphones which launched in India in September had identical hardware, which was inferior to what was already available in the market. Because of Android's fragmentation, people really do not know the advantages of stock Android, so hardware matters more. And that is where the initial Android One device failed and made it to the number 2 on our countdown. In 2014, Amazon thought it was onto something. It thought it could reinvent the phone again. Coupled with a new sensor system, Amazon's Fire Phone had a 720p screen and the entire setup was called Perspective Display. It also has powerful internals, but frankly, Amazon was not reinventing the wheel. It was a good Android phone, but straddled by the limitations of Amazon Store for apps and lack of integration with Google services, which are the secret sauce behind Android anyways, it was overhyped and it bombed. So the Amazon Fire Phone takes the number 1 spot on our top tech fails of 2014. And with that, it's time for us to say goodbye on this edition of the Gadgets and Gizmos show. If you have any comments, queries or suggestions, tweet us at HLT Gizmos. You can also email us on htgg@aajtak.com. We'll see you same time, same place next year. Until then, keep loving technology and spend wisely. Wishing you guys a happy new year.